From manipulating bounty hunters, to trading hostages like poker chips, to sweet-talking his way through a fake government, Cooper Howard might be the most dangerously clever character in the entire Fallout universe. And this is every single time he proved it. Let's kick things off at the very beginning, the Ghoul's first appearance in the show. A group of mercenaries, including a guy called Honcho, along with his buddies Slim and Biggie, roll up to some burial site to dig up our boy. They went to Dom Pedro's stronghold specifically to recruit the Ghoul as a gunman for collecting the bounty on an enclave defector named Siggy Wilzig. These guys figured they'd thaw out their secret weapon, pitch him a deal, and split the reward 4 ways. Real smart plan. Except they forgot one tiny detail. The Ghoul doesn't share. While pitching him the deal, Honcho made the mistake of remarking on the Ghoul's past and invoking his ire. The bounty hunter murdered Biggie and Slim before kicking Honcho into his former grave and then setting out to claim Wilzig's bounty alone. He literally used these fools to get free intel about a high-value target, took them out with zero hesitation, and walked off to collect the reward himself. He was asleep in a coffin 5 minutes earlier and already had a body count. That's not brute force. That's a guy who's played this game for 200 years and decided he doesn't need teammates. The outsmarting here was letting them dig him up, letting them explain the entire job, and then eliminating the competition before the hunt even started. Cold-blooded efficiency. Next up, the Philly shootout. Returning to California for the first time in decades, the Ghoul reached the trading town of Philly. He determined that Wilzig would pass through the settlement and chose to enter the town and lie in wait for his target, even though the town did not allow ghouls inside. Think about that for a second. He knew the rules, walked in anyway, and set himself up in a chair to watch and wait. The Ghoul stood up from his chair across the way and called out to the dock, while the denizens of Philly started to leave the town. Ma June told the Ghoul his kind wasn't welcome there, but he disregarded her. Ma June announced she would pay anyone who could kill the Ghoul, leading to a firefight between the Ghoul and multiple townspeople, with the Ghoul quickly coming out on top. This dude walked into hostile territory, provoked an entire town into drawing on him, and mowed through all of them like it was target practice. The Ghoul made easy work of his attackers, with the action looking much like the VAT system used in the games, as we follow the bullet as it hits its intended target. He outsmarted the entire settlement by treating it like his personal hunting ground, daring everyone to come at him and knowing full well none of them could handle it. But the real flex? What happened next? See, the Ghoul didn't just dominate the Philly shootout. The Ghoul had several opportunities to kill Maximus. Near the end of the fight, Maximus got his foot stuck in one of the town's boards, and the Ghoul could have easily taken his fusion core. The season finale showed the Ghoul knew of a weak point in power armor that he could have exploited. He already knew how to end that fight instantly, but chose not to. Why waste a kill on a kid in stolen armor when the real prize was getting away with the bounty? The bounty hunter retrieved the wounded CX-404, nursing her with a stim pack and having her lead him to Wilzig. He healed the dog. He used the dog. He let everyone else scatter and then quietly tracked his prey using their own companion. That's not losing, that's regrouping with a better plan. Now here's where things get really interesting with Lucy. After catching up to her and taking her prisoner, the Ghoul doesn't just drag her along like dead weight, he turns her into a tool. Wilzig's head ended up inside one of these massive mutant creatures, and instead of risking his own neck, he dangles the Vault Dweller as a snack to draw the thing out. That went sideways when his medication got destroyed in the attempt, but the strategy itself was brilliant. Use someone else to absorb the risk while he positions himself for the payoff. It's a terrible thing to do to another person, and he does it without blinking. And when the gulper trick doesn't pan out the way he wanted, does he panic? Nope. He pivots immediately to the next scheme. The Ghoul, weakened by withdrawal, leads Lucy to an abandoned Super Duper Mart and trades her to organ harvesters in exchange for a month's supply of vials. He literally sold a human being for drugs. Now look, morally, absolutely disgusting. Strategically, the man was dying from withdrawal and managed to secure exactly what he needed to stay alive by trading a resource he could afford to lose. He treated the entire wasteland economy like a chessboard, and Lucy was his pawn. The outsmarting here wasn't about fighting, it was about negotiation and leverage. He had something they wanted, and they had something he needed. Things go even further in the Super Duper Mart aftermath. Lucy takes some of the chems and, despite his actions, gives them to the barely conscious Ghoul before leaving. She literally saved the life of the man who sold her to organ harvesters. And what does our guy do when he wakes up? He loots the entire place. He didn't fight anybody for those supplies. He didn't need to. Lucy did all the hard work of dismantling the operation. The Ghoul just walked in afterward and helped himself. If that's not outsmarting your way to a win, I don't know what is. He let someone else clear the dungeon and then strolled in to grab the loot. Any Fallout player knows that energy. Then comes the trap. The Ghoul is captured by a pair of sheriffs claiming to be working for the government. He's brought before the self-titled president, Booker, and turns down his suggestion of working with him. Now, the Ghoul is in deep trouble here, right? Arrested, dragged before a fake government, about to be executed? Most people would be sweating. Not this dude. Under questioning from Booker, the Ghoul takes sole responsibility for the carnage at the Super Duper Mart and doesn't tell him that it was Lucy who was actually responsible. Why protect Lucy? Because she's more useful to him alive and free out there than she is rotting in some cell. And then the real genius move. The Ghoul raises his tied-up hands and questions Sorrel about untying the rope around his hands. This makes Sorrel hesitate, but the Ghoul cajoles him, saying they're old buddies. After a quick moment of hesitation, Sorrel uses his blade to cut off the ropes. He got himself untied, asked for sewing supplies like he was settling in for a casual evening, and then the second they lowered their guard, he turned the whole room into a crime scene. The Ghoul quickly killed the sheriffs, but before he left, was astounded to find a bounty poster of a woman he claims to know, who Booker identifies as Moldaver. So not only did he escape execution, he gained critical intel about Moldaver's location. He walked into that room a prisoner and walked out with a lead on his next target. That's the Ghoul in a nutshell. Every setback becomes an opportunity. Speaking of Moldaver's location, the Ghoul's interrogation of the former NCR Ranger family is another masterclass in psychological warfare. Two metal scavengers, Adam and his son Tommy, wearing NCR Ranger combat armor, returned to their homestead and found the Ghoul sitting inside. He interrogated them about the location of Moldaver. After learning that one of their family members, Rufus, had joined Moldaver's movement, the Ghoul revealed he had already killed Rufus, but the map he received was ruined with his blood. Let that settle in. He had already done the homework. He killed the first lead, came up short on details, and then tracked down the family to squeeze out the rest of the information. He wasn't violent for the sake of it. He extracted every piece of useful information first, then eliminated the loose end, politely. And finally, the Battle of the Griffith Observatory in the season finale. The Ghoul fought through and arrived to confront Hank, finally being able to ask the former Vault-Tec executive the whereabouts of his family. The Brotherhood of Steel is waging an all-out assault on Moldaver's position, and the Ghoul cuts through Brotherhood soldiers in the dark to get where he needs to be. In the final episode, the Ghoul talks about knowing the weak spots of power armor and takes down multiple knights even in the dark. Remember how he chose not to exploit that weakness against Maximus back in Philly? He saved that knowledge for when it actually mattered, when the real stakes were on the table. The Ghoul told Lucy that by letting her father run away, he might leave a trail leading straight to the real mastermind behind the Great War. He didn't kill Hank outright. He wounded him and let him flee. Because a scared man on the run makes mistakes, leaves tracks, and heads straight toward whoever is pulling his strings. The Ghoul turned a retreating enemy into a breadcrumb trail leading to the biggest conspiracy in the Fallout universe. That's not just outsmarting one person, that's outsmarting an entire 200-year-old corporate machine. The bounty hunter extended the offer to Lucy to come and meet her makers, which she eventually agreed to. The duo later escaped the Brotherhood's advance on the Observatory via a secret path into Hollywood forever, being joined by Dogmeat as they began the journey chasing after Hank towards the Mojave Wasteland and New Vegas. Every single encounter the Ghoul has in this series follows the same pattern. He assesses the situation, identifies what he can exploit, manipulates the people around him, and walks away with more than he had before. The Ghoul's unique power is thanks to the fact that he is a maxed-out main character who has played the game for over 2 centuries and knows it all. He's not just strong, he's not just a good shot. The man is 200 years of accumulated wasteland wisdom wrapped in decaying skin and a cowboy hat. And every single person who underestimates him pays the price. Comment down below and tell us which moment you think was his most brilliant play. We'll catch you on the next one.